that we do together, that I truly believe that my mom manifested him, because that was her marriage. She had a marriage of partnership. They worked together, they lived together, they built a home together, they built a life together in equal partnership, and I saw that growing up. And I'm just amazed that I found exactly what I kind of grew up with Nick. Well, I made the list of 5 things that, first of all, I wanted then this was before I met Nick. And I remember writing it down one New Year's Eve or something and putting it in my wallet, as if it was going to happen. And that was Nick. Like, that happened 6 months later. He comes into my life and he was exactly all of those things.
It is amazing. Okay, let me get it together. You won 3 Grammy Awards.
Yeah.
Your Times 100s on the next list.
Yeah.
Look at this picture. I love this photo of this moment. How does all the accomplishments feel?
Oh my goodness, it really feels surreal, like looking at this image. I remember days where I was just practicing this pose.
You practiced it?
Yes.
Oh.
Because you see Beyonce with this pose. I was like, okay, she had it like this, and this is how you hold multiple Grammys. So, I just was always trying to manifest these things for
manifested
myself.
it.
Me and God did.
Come on. And you're still doing it.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. I could see, as artists, we dream of those moments. I love that you practice holding your future Grammys. I'm sure there's more to come. And then your 3-year-old daughter, Hazel, is the youngest Grammy nominee in history. And she's so precious.
It was like, this was my new life. And I started having visions, very clear visions of being a Mr. Austria. Then there were pictures of the Mr. Europe contest. So I visualized myself being in the Mr. Europe contest and winning. And then I saw pictures of Reg Park, which is a British bodybuilder. And I saw pictures of him winning Mr. Universe in London. And so that was my new vision. So I started really creating through this guy's a vision. But that vision was so vivid, so clear, that I felt like all I had to do now is just follow through with the work. So let me now find out what needs to be done. And I started following his routine. And I was absolutely convinced that I will be another Reg Park. And so that's how I really developed my first rule that I always talk about to success, is you got to have a very clear vision of where you want to go. Because if you don't have that, you're just floating around. And so, I was very fortunate that I created that vision. I was very fortunate that there was not the side kind of things going on. We didn't have a phone in our house. We didn't have a television in our house. At that time, there were no iPhones, there were no iPads, there was no computer. There was just really, you had all the time in the world to think and to really just sit quietly and to just visualize. And so this is why I think that I made that kind of the rule number 1 is, visualize. And I always compare it to that you can have the best airplane in the world with the most advanced pilot. But if he doesn't know where to go, he's just gonna fly around until it crashes. And that's what happens to you in life. If you don't know where you want to go or who you want to be, you eventually just float around and you eventually crash.
I read the book, The Color Purple, and then went out and got books for everybody else I knew. And I was obsessed about this story, obsessed about it. I ate, slept, thought all the time about The Color Purple. I moved to Chicago. I get a call from a casting agent asking, would I like to come and audition for a movie? I've never gotten a call in my life from anybody for a movie or anything like that. And I say, is it The Color Purple? And he says, no, it's a movie called Moonsong. And I go, well, I've been praying for The Color Purple. And I go to the audition, and of course it was The Color Purple. I audition. I don't hear anything for months. And I go to this fat farm, and I think it's because I'm fat, because I was about 212 pounds at the time. And I think I didn't get the call back because I'm so fat. And I'm at this fat farm, and I'm praying and crying, saying to God, help me let this go. because I wanted to be in this movie so much. I wanted it, I wanted it, I wanted it. I thought I was going to be in the movie. There's all these signs that I should be in the movie. And I go to this fat farm and I'm praying and crying. And as I'm on the track singing this song, I surrender all. I'm singing that song, praying and crying. A woman comes out to me and she says, on the track, it's raining, and she says, there's a phone call for you. And the phone call was Steven Spielberg saying, I want to see you in my office in California tomorrow. Now, what I learned from that moment absolutely changed my life forever, because I had drawn The Color Purple into my life. I didn't know Steven Spielberg. I didn't know Quincy Jones, who saw me in Chicago. In 1984, he was there for a lawsuit that was being filed against Michael Jackson because he'd been working on his Thriller album. And he saw me on AM Chicago and said, that's Sophia. Now, I didn't know him. I didn't know anybody that had anything to do with that. But I knew that I had drawn that into my life, and it changed the way I thought about my life forever.
Make yourself a vision board. Figure out what you want and how you want to spend every single day. I didn't really utilize vision boards until my kids really introduced that to me along the way, and I found it really inspirational. I was blown away at how that worked for me. Just using the visuals really helped me see something come to life. And I think that's equally as important in business, because it helps you with the creativity and what you don't want too. If you start planning something and designing something, it all comes crystal clear what you gravitate towards.
It's saying to the universe what I didn't want, what I didn't want. So guess what I did? I manifested what I didn't want. Yeah. So I really had to change my thinking. And instead of thinking of what I didn't want, I had to get intentional with what I did want. Wow. What was my perfect partner? What would he be like, feel like? What walk of life would he come in? Who would he be? How would he treat me? I got very granular with it, and then he showed up. And then 2.5 years later, after I started my meditative process and I was happy being alone, yes, I thought if he doesn't show up, he doesn't show up, but God, I'm gonna try. And then he showed up, and it was the perfect match for me.